The Boston Bruins have a major decision to make with former top prospect Fabian Lysell on what the plan is going to be for him next season after a very interesting offseason for this Bruins team. We're going to be breaking that down as well as going over an article detailing the Boston Bruins plan next season with a chance and where they rank currently of getting Gavin McKenna, who is heading to Penn State in his first season with the NCAA. We're going to be breaking it all down here, going over some very interesting looks here for this Bruins team from the offseason into next year, as we're going to get a very detailed look at what is going to happen. We're going to be breaking it all down here in the video. Before we do get into it, ladies and gentlemen, your support has been incredible. I keep on saying it every video, and you know the rule. We're on the road to 8K. Your guys' support, like I mentioned, has been incredible, and we are very, very close to that number. The ultimate big goal of 10K. So we appreciate your support, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that sub button. Join us here. We're going to have all your Bruins news for you right here. But let's get straight into our first topic here, going over the first little bit of a Fabian Lysell quote, going on what the idea is going behind him. We know that this team put in a very interesting position here where they had to go to a retool, rebuild style of offseason compared to what they have gone before. And now Fabian Lysell, who was projected to get into the lineup next year, maybe without a spot. And I want to jump into our first quote, going over the article here from Michael DeRosa of the Hockey News. It says, beside the addition of Arvidsson, Janot, Asimon, the Bruins also already have forwards like Mark Kaslik, John Beecher, and Marat Huznatinov, and Matthew Poitras as options for their NHL roster. Thus, there isn't much room for a prospect like Lysell to find his way onto the Bruins roster. This could change if the Bruins move out some of their surplus of bottom six forwards, but time will tell what happens on that front. Now, looking at what Lysell has brought to this team thus far, it really isn't much. A lot of AHL games, a lot of AHL experience, which has become really good production. I think there's no doubt about that. It's very tough to be able to say that he has not been good for this Bruins team in the AHL, but so far with 12 NHL games played, a lot of interesting decisions are going to be made for what he brings to the table. And of course, as I mentioned, you look at his AHL stats over the past few years, not so much this season, but the season before in 23-24, 50 points in 56 games. That was really the promising look where we thought we were going to see him here last season with the Bruins to really start the season. That was not the case, and we only saw him here for 12 games where he got 3 points, and much of which was really at the end of the season when the season was just completely over. And this causes a lot of interesting stuff going on for the former 21st overall pick, because this was really his big year to crack this roster, but now with the way that this team has been built by Don Sweeney, it doesn't really provide much positivity for him in this lineup. He's going to have to prove regardless, everybody is, whether or not they're going to be capable of making this team, but for a guy like Lysell, who is a little bit undersized, coming into this team with a lot of players who are, career bottom six NHLers, it's going to be hard to get your role over those guys, and even though we do have a few openings in the offense, potentially 2 second-line players, I'm really not sure Fabian Lysell is going to be able to make it there above some other players. We know he's talented enough to do it, but with the direction the Bruins are heading in, and we're going to kind of jump into that later with kind of what this article from Bleacher Report is saying about Gavin McKenna, there's a lot of questions being raised about not just the Bruins' capabilities of going to win, but what their plan is going to be going forward and how they're going to translate this team into a playoff team once again in a couple years. And we don't know if it's going to be this year. That's something that I think we won't know until we actually see the team on the ice next year. But going and taking a look at the offense right now, it's pretty blocked up. And Fabian Lysell, we could see him here apart from some other players, and we expect some sort of bottom six trades to go down, whether it is trading some prospects for assets that will work out now, future picks, whatever it may be. They have to get something done very quick with Merkulov, Lysell, and some other of these AHL players that we've seen in the organization already for the past couple of seasons, and especially now, going into his final year of his deal, Fabian Lysell is going to be looking for a new contract after this year, and going off his ELC, if we do not see him in the NHL this year, he will not want to return to this team. As much as he may want to play here, if they have not put him in any games, 12 at this point at least, and expecting to be some next year, let's just say a handful of games before your ELC is over, why would you want to re-sign here? It makes a lot of sense why Fabian Lysell is trying to get in this lineup, trying to crack a roster, because he wants to get paid, Nobody's going to go out here and just pay him a lot of money to come into a team where we haven't seen him in the NHL before, and it's going to cause a lot of issues for him going into this season, and also be very interesting on his trade value. So if the Bruins are going about some other plan, some other way of going, about this whole season that's going to be coming for him, they have to figure something out quick, and they want to make sure that they get everything right going forward for Fabian Lysell. Now, with another quote here as well coming from Michael DeRosa of the Hockey News, you go on here and says, it will be very interesting to see if Lysell can beat the odds and earn himself a spot on the Bruins opening night roster next season. However, he will need to stand out big time during camp as he has far more competition after the Bruins' July 1st shopping spree. And once again, kind of adding to the effect that he's not going to be given a spot. Yes, it's Fabian Lysell. He should be earning a spot here. But if he's not playing to his best, like I mentioned, these career bottom 6 guys that are in this roster and on this lineup right now will not be getting just wiped out here for a guy who was supposed to be there originally. So, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a Fabian Lysell trade. I don't want to see it. I think he still has so much potential, and I want to see him in this lineup because we saw some promise in his games last year, but there's just so many questions being raised about what his role is going to be for this team, if he'll make the roster even going forward, what he will provide to this Boston Bruins team that they can't get elsewhere. It's causing a lot of questions, and I'm very curious to see what you guys think about Fabian Lysell here. Do you think he's going to crack this roster here opening night, or do you think it's going to be more of just see him once again another season, ultimately either get traded, sign with the Bruins again, go to, free agency, whatever's going to happen? Let me know what you think there in that case. But we need to hop on to a Bleacher Report article going over Gavin McKenna, the guy who's supposed to go number 1 overall, where the Bruins, let's hope, don't. But if they're going anywhere, it needs to be the first overall pick next season. And this is what the Bleacher Report article said right here. This season has high boom or bust potential for the Bruins. And if they bust, they will be heavily in the mix to land Gavin McKenna. Now, this is something that is very interesting here as well, because we don't know the way the Bruins are going to go. And I kind of mentioned that earlier with Fabian Lysell. This team, in my mind, has 2 directions. Either a borderline playoff team, or they're going to be probably, again, one of the worst teams in the NHL. Let's not hope the second. They really shouldn't be the second because they have a great goaltender, great defense, and a pretty solid offense that's pretty deep. If they make a few more moves, this team could easily be a playoff team once again. But the fact that Bleacher Report is putting us right now, and I don't have it exactly here, but they're putting us the second highest odds of first overall behind San Jose, it's genuinely insane, especially the way that the Bruins have gone. And as we do look at on Tankathon right here, currently this at number 7, same spot we were this year, and then kind of following almost the same route, Pittsburgh going down a bit, but Gavin McKenna is the clear-cut number 1 here, of course, once again. We saw what he provided going to Penn State now this year, getting more competition with the NCAA, better than what he would get in the CHL there with Medicine Hat, and going off of what he had said and the reason going to the NCAA, Gavin McKenna fully thinks that he's going to become a much better player here in the NCAA. He says, I think college honestly just makes the jump to the NHL easier. Going against older, heavier, stronger guys, I think really prepares you. I think even the locker room, hanging out with older guys and being around more mature guys, I think that will help a lot in my first season. Obviously, the WHL was a great spot, and I'm very grateful for what it did for me and my family. I think both options are great, but I just think that going to college and being such a great conference, it really challenges me and prepares me. So he's ready to come into this lineup and, or any lineup in the NHL. He's ready to get to the NHL and be that next level guy. And I think this is just, once again, another boost. Hopefully, the Boston Bruins, not necessarily local to Penn State, but having that NCAA in the northeast of America will certainly cause a bit of commotion going on in the Boston, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia area, and hopefully we do see some stuff going on about that if the Bruins do not start out the season great. And of course, we want to see us play playoffs again. I do honestly think that we are able to, but it will take a huge jump. And looking at McKenna's stats, obviously 129 points in 56 games. Guy's a dog. There's no doubt about that. This guy is an absolute dog. And if you go and put what he can bring to any single team in the NHL, he would be a phenomenal fit for the Bruins along with James Higgins and what the future holds for this team. I mean, 38 points in 16 games, and guy's just an absolute animal. So let me know what you think about here. Do you think Gavin McKenna is a real option? Are we going to go there? What do you think is going to happen this season? Also, what do you think is going to happen with Fabian Lysell? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to wrap it up. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.